Hi everyone, my name is Iskandar. I work for a web agency and social media agency called Nudge, based in London. I'm just going to quickly run over some of the technical things that have changed in the past month. There haven't been that many this month. There's three main things that have happened. The first being Facebook have added a bit of API sugar for adding action links into the feed stories. And these are basically 3 or 4 links that you can put at the bottom of a feed story using the API. And that helps you give call to actions for users to do something. Instead of embedding it into the actual story content where it might get lost, Facebook will display those links underneath the story, just like they do for their own apps. So that's nice for developers. A bit of API makes life easier. There are a few guidelines. Technically, there's a new action links parameter for the register template bundle method. Facebook have provided some guidelines for what you should do and what you cannot do with these action links. And they are, you should have about 3 links per story, maximum. They have to describe a contextual action. So basically something like, buy the song or review this movie, that type of thing. The link text has to start with a verb. Only 1 verb per link. Don't be deceptive, please. Don't add lots of superfluous punctuation. And use 3 words or less if possible. So mostly common sense when you're writing call to action. The next thing that's useful for developers is they've added a feed template console, which provides a really easy way for previewing and even adding a new template bundle. And this is on the developer tools on the website. It's not through the API. It's just something that they've added to maybe make it easier for non-technical users to quickly try out a new feed story and see what it looks like. And it works like a wizard. So you can go through step by step, adding a short story, and the full story, and the one-line stories. And it works nicely with the existing registered template bundles console, which they have as well, which lets you activate and deactivate the templates that you've already got. And the last thing, which Josh mentioned already just now, is alcohol-related content in apps. Using the new demographic restrictions, you are now allowed to have alcohol-related content, and in fact, as Josh mentioned, it seems to me that they're endorsing it. So Facebook is becoming a bit more grown-up in this. There's 2 approaches you need to take if your app has anything to do with any alcohol-related content. And that includes generic cocktail images and generic references to any alcohol. Starting from January 6th, you have to use either the set restriction info method call on the admin class. And you have to use that if your app is primarily about alcohol. So that wine app would have to use that. If you have, for example, a virtual gift app where you give cocktails away, for example, you can use the FB restricted to FBML tag to simply replace that with a non-alcohol image or content. And part of what they've added to make this easier for developers is a new type parameter which you can pass to the set restriction info. And that type parameter basically takes all the work out of deciding if it's legal for the user to have an alcohol-related content. So if they're in the States, you don't need to check for 21. If they're in California, or you just provide it with an alcohol type. And Facebook will basically tell you if it's allowed. It'll do all that filtering for you based on age and country. And I have a note here that says, gambling, prawn, inevitable. So, I don't know. We'll see if they continue making it more and more grown up. If you're not sure if you need to care about it, check the platform policy on the developer wiki, chapter 11. Those are the main things. A few minor bits and pieces of news. Facebook has reached 120 million users, I think, this month. That's 20 million users in the past 3 months. Apparently, most of that growth has been in Europe. FB Fund voting is open. Facebook gifts are now using a credit-based system. So it's not $1 per gift. You can now buy 100 credits for $1, which lets Facebook basically have nice variable pricing. Good for them. And also, far more technical, Scribe, which is Facebook's server, logging server, has been released as open source, which is based on their Thrift framework and is written in C++. And basically, that's a big, honking log monster server. So if you're doing big-time server stuff, you might find it useful. And that's pretty much it for this month. Have a good break or good party if we're having one. And check our blog. It's nudgelondon.com/blog. I'll put the slides up on that in case you want to check.